I can see myself in that character.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, back to me, I like Sam Wilson. I like Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson. I can see myself in that character because of how he portrays the character, because he gives the character just a little bit more depth. Even though he has depth in the comics, Anthony Mackie brought it to life, giving him just a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
I can say with who I am now.
Like, the characters don't need to be one-dimensional. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the phrase I've been looking for. One-dimensional.
Like, I can say when I watched Man of Steel in 2013, I would say, because I had did a lot of healing and I wasn't on my wild shit like I was back when I was doing what I was doing. Him holding Zod's head and wanting to not do it, and literally having, like, I don't really have a choice. It's either let these people die or I have to kill you. And then when he do the snap, like that little struggle, which I wish they had held it for like maybe 5 seconds more. But that snap in that moment was just masterful. Like, one of the best things about, to me, the aspect of Henry Cavill as Superman and Ben Affleck's Batman, and the reason why I don't think Dawn of Justice is a bad fucking movie, I think people just want what they want. When you see from Bruce Wayne's perspective, that shit, it will fuck with you too. And
it's the exact reason why people say, "Oh, I wouldn't want to meet an alien." Like, you really think you would want to meet that nigga?
Yeah, like, we see him, and it don't matter that you're a good guy. Like, look
at what you're capable of.
I love the conversations that Superman has with Lex Luthor and with Batman in contrast, because Bruce is saying the same thing Lex is saying. Bruce is
all the time.
Yeah, but Bruce is just like, I'm willing to give you a chance. And Lex is like, fuck that chance. That's really all it is. Like, I look at you as my friend.
Now, Lex is willing to cross lines that Bruce isn't willing to cross. And that's where the problem comes in. Like, if you go back and listen to, it was 2 audio dramas. One of them is Mortal and the other one is Kingdom Come.
Okay.
I listened to both of them. I can't remember which one it is though, but I know I listened to both of them recently. Batman works with Lex in order to get some stuff solved, and he's only doing it with his own motives in mind. But it's just like they be on the same page until Lex go to being Lex.
Yeah.
Like, they be on the exact same page.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm with you.
Yeah.
In fact, you know how one-dimensional their characters are? Initially, in the original comics, Lex Luthor was only mad at Superman because Superman made him bald.
Yeah, that was the original. Over time, they start showing that Lex himself, like he's just.
Though my favorite comic is them growing up as friends and becoming jealous. That's my favorite.
Yes.
Because it's like,
that makes sense.
Go from friends, I'm talking about best friends, to sworn enemies. Oh, I loved it.
Because the thing that I like about that though is, from a certain perspective, it is Clark's fault. Like, he could have prevented that. He could have prevented them he could have prevented them from being enemies. I love that comic because all he had to do was make 2 decisions. Tell him and save him. That's it. So Lex in that aspect is coming from, we were friends, you could have confided in me because you confided in
Lois.
Yeah. You could have saved my family. You have the power to do it. And you're telling me you can't, but you're not telling me why. Because there was a reason, but you're not telling me why. Bet. I get that. That in that scenario, Clark, that's your fault. If I was Lois, and she kind of told him, nah, you might have fucked up. And she said sometimes you got to make the hard decision. And the hard decision.
Did you watch Superman and Lois?
I haven't finished the last season.
No.
I haven't finished the last season.
That's the best.
I love when the lowest that I love is the one that, yes, I'm in love with you, Superman, but I'm talking to you, Clark. Mm-hmm. That's the one I like, because she's like, you're Clark before you're him. You masquerade. It's not like Bruce in Batman. It's Batman putting on a mask to be Bruce. It's Clark putting on a mask to be Superman. So she's like, I know who the fuck you are, but I'm talking to you, Clark. And she gonna tell him, the shit that you're doing, you're being fucking stupid. I miss that Lois. Mm-hmm. That's the Lois I miss. Like the ones they've been showing recently, nah, bro. That's why I love Iris, not on the TV show, but Iris in the comics when it pertains to Barry. Yeah. Because Iris don't fucking play.
Yeah.
She do not play. Barry, you know how to solve it, but I just Barry, and I love that they kept her black even after Convergence and all that, because she's operating in a space of like, yo, you're capable. Stop pretending like you're not probably the smartest person ever. Because what people don't realize is that Flash can read everything, and he said, I can read everything ever in existence before the sun goes down. I can comprehend everything that I'm reading as I'm reading it, in the moment that I'm reading it, before I realize I'm reading it. That's how fast the Speed Force has his mind working. And he and other speedsters dump, temper, and slow it down just so they can be normal. But if Flash ever was like, fuck everybody, Flash could come up with concepts that nobody, he would be Dr. Doom. He would be Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
If Barry really wanted to, if he wasn't as good and gentle as he is, he could really be Dr. Doom on everything I love. Because everything that happened in his life was somebody else's fault besides the chemicals. And even that was somebody's fault, his own. Because you end up learning that the fucking lightning that hit him was himself to create the Speed Force.
Which is weird, which is just a dumbass way for comics to be like, we don't know how to make this a reason, so...
It's just saying that time is not time. That's all it was.
For Barry.
Yeah. So... But I see what you're saying. I would say the one thing I give them, I would say y'all side characters have vastly more depth than most of ours. I think our villain... They
take the time to actually draw him out and be like, he came from this to do this to do this to do this to do this, and he got here with this and this.
And that's just y'all side characters.
And that's how they make you fall in love with him. Like, the only side character we truly love in DC is Nightwing.
And he's not even really a side character.
He is a side character. He just became a main character.
That's what I'm saying. He's
the original side character.
Well, then you can say that about Bucky.
No, you can't.
Bucky was a side character.
He still is.
You don't consider him being a main character?
Hell no.
He was Captain America for like 2 years.
And it was only 2 weak ass years. And he was a good Captain America, but he's not a main character. That's why it didn't last that long. Whereas Sam came in, and Sam been Captain America for quite some time now.
Yeah, but they said they're going back to Steve.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Go back to Steve.
No. I'm sorry. Steve is coming back as Captain America, but there's going to be 2 Captain Americans.
That's fine.
Yeah. So.
Oh, dang. You want to have that conversation we was having when you walked through the door?
Yeah, we can.
What conversation is this?
We're going to get some, but right before that, I got a question for you. Are you going to watch the Captain America series they announced? They announced the Captain America series with Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, and it's showing him take the stones back.
No.
You're not going to watch it? You don't need to see it?
I have no interest in that. I don't need to see it. I have zero interest in seeing him do that. Unless you're going to show him fighting people unnecessarily.
Right.
And then I would only be interested in the fight scenes. Captain America stories come good when there's a spy shit involved, the espionage shit, some true soldier shit. You just going to return the, stones. It's kind of just like, man, I don't need to see that.
A lot of people been asking for that.
Animated?
No, it's gonna be live action.
I don't need to see that.
Yeah, a lot of people said they was asking for it. I seen a shit ton of people like, yo, thank God, finally they.
Why?
I think they just miss Chris Evans as Captain America.
People don't like change.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's what it is. Because I never cared to have that movie. I just like he took him back and he So let him
It's not a movie
retire.
that draws my attention at all.
Yeah, I'm happy that they didn't kill off Steve Rogers. I don't think they
We
needed
don't know
to.
what happened.
We know what happened. You say, huh?
I said we don't know what happened.
He got married, had kids, and nigga died. Well, he probably not dead now.
He's an
might
old
have
man.
died.
I'm saying
He was an old ass man.
Yeah, he old. We don't know what happened to him.
But you know what I mean. You know what I mean when I said
I
that.
don't know what happened to that man.
So
All I know is he was
basically
old.
just gonna take it
He
back.
gained that shit. to
Basically.
him.
I don't want to see that shit.
I'm meaning like I'm happy he retired.
Unless you're gonna give me Clint Eastwood old ass with a Captain America shield,
Yeah, he already passed
fighting niggas, huh?
Clint Eastwood dead.
Clint Eastwood is not dead.
He's not.
Clint Eastwood is not dead. He's like 97 years old. He ain't dead.
I thought Clint Eastwood died. I'm not
Clint
even
Eastwood is not dead. Don't you put that on that man. He old as fuck, but he ain't dead.
Dirty Dancing Clint Eastwood.
No, he is not. That is Patrick Swayze.
Ah, okay.
Patrick Swayze is dead.
All right. I fucked up. I thought he died.
Google Clint Eastwood. It should say like 95.
I did want to ask you before they had this conversation.
94.
Have you seen those 2 new episodes?
97.
94.
They came out with.
Yeah.
The last week
94.
of One Piece.
Yeah.
The last
What
what?
you think of Frankie voice?
I'm cool with it.
Really?
What y'all talking about?
The new episode of One Piece that came out. I want to get his idea of it.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, y'all can talk about
I ain't got
One
no
Piece.
issue with it.
I do.
I don't. I mean, the voice actor passed away.
No, he retired.
Oh well, he retired. So it's kind of like you gotta get a new voice somewhere. And I mean, it's not overly like high or anything like that. It's fine to me.
But they're using the voice of
He just sounds a
Toto.
little bit more mature.
Yeah, they're using the voice of Toto.
That's fine. I could live with that.
Nah, bro. Like there could have been other options. I would have been fine with them. Nah, that would have been giving it to Zorro again.
But they also had to find somebody quick.
Yeah. But I feel like there was more options. I don't know. I guess I just got to get used to it. Love the new animation that came out for it.
I'm not a fan of dub.
You know what?
I'm not a fan of One Piece dub.
I kind of am.
I'm not.
They use voice actors from Dragon Ball Z. I fucks with.
I'm good on it.
You say you prefer they dub, or you say you don't care?
I don't like the dub. I don't like the dub only because their voices, I'm so used to hearing it in Japanese that their voices just sound off.
I understand that, but when they get the motherfucking voice right, they get the fucking voice right.
I'm saying they did Zorro right.
That's why I fuck with dubs more than I fuck with subs. Because most of the time they get it right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, also you ain't got to do as much reading and everything, but
I'm
still.
not reading, that ain't really the issue. That ain't the issue.
It's just like when you hear these attacks from these certain people, it's like, okay, that shit sound fire.
Yeah, like for instance, I love the sub of My Hero.
Well, that's
prefer the dub of My Hero.
well, that's the only way that I've seen My Hero anyway. So
It's dubbed?
yeah,
Yeah.
because you gotta think I'm still behind. I haven't even picked back up on.
I've seen the English.
I probably
the
should
dub.
since they came out with a new season.
New season drops later on.
Yeah, Vigilantes, they just dropped.
It already dropped.
No,
Yeah.
Vigilantes, even though it's a part of the My Hero world, it's not My Hero Academia. That's Vigilantes.
Yeah, the spinoff.
Yeah, it's a spinoff. It's before All Might retired and everything. You need to watch. It don't have Deku. That might be why you want to fuck with it. But I'm okay.
I got past
Let me
all
ask a question, and then we gonna get to what me and Smoke was talking about earlier. I have a question. What is the beef with people when it pertains to watching a character go from a bitch to a badass? They just can't do.
Because
A lot of people don't like Deku because he was a crying ass little bitch. He was. Right now in the story, the nigga cold is a motherfucker.
You wanna know why?
Because we knew you was a bitch.
You wanna know why?
And we always remember you
Because
as a
I'm
But
bitch.
a lot of y'all was bitches before y'all was them niggas.
No, you wanna know why? You wanna know why? Because I'm in season 2 and he's still a bitch.
What that had to do with anything?
I'm in season 2 and he's still a bitch.
And because some people that was a bitch.
How long you think
Yeah,
the
that
story
was a bitch.
from
It doesn't matter.
season 1 to season 2?
50 episodes.
4 months passed.
50 episodes of season 1 and he's still a bitch in
It's
season
not no
2.
50 episodes in season 1.
How many? About 20 something though.
No,
right?
it was like fucking 15.
No, it wasn't. Even still, 15 episodes. 15 episodes.
And he was a bitch the whole way. Nothing happened.
He was a bitch.
So when he won the tournament and all of that, that's all bitch made.
Won what tournament? Season 1, he didn't win a tournament.
When he was trying to go and get into the academy, when he fucking grabbed the thing and hit the goddamn mines and blew up. And
you talking about the festival?
That was before the festival.
No.
When they had to take the test to get into the academy.
You mean where he still cried?
Doesn't matter that you fucking cried. Did you do the shit that made you look fine? He did.
Broke his leg, broke his arm.
He did.
Did he cry in front of everybody?
Yes.
When he broke his leg and arm, no, he didn't. He passed the fuck out. He was granted power that nobody's body can handle.
The whole season 1, he is crying. Granted, he's still being successful, but he's crying.
Yes, because I went from, my whole idea was, I want to be a hero like All Might. And then I'm told I don't have a quirk. So I'm being told by the doctor and my own mom and saying, I'm sorry, son, you're not ever going to be a hero. Choose another path. But I'm still choosing to write these things down. I'm still choosing that I'm going to go to that academy, even though this nigga named Bosky Bakugo, who everybody fucking loves, is saying that you ain't shit, you a bitch, you ain't gonna never be nothing, and you ain't nothing. But the reason why he don't like me is because when he fell down, the other friends was like, he's alright because he's strong. And my ass went down there and said, come with me. Let me help you. That nigga, who had nothing, was bestowed onto him not by just anybody, the motherfucker he always wanted to be like, and was told, fuck what they said, you can be a hero too. And you saying he don't deserve to cry in that moment.
He had powers?
Now he do. He didn't have, All Might gave him his powers.
Thank you.
But that's the concept of of the one for all quirk.
Yeah. It has to be passed down.
It gets passed down. You get to pick a successor. So he went from nothing.
So All Might don't exist no more.
No, he exists.
He gave his powers to the young boy.
It's a slow receding. Like since he gave him his powers, as he gets more acquainted with the powers, he's losing the power.
It went from a flame to embers. That's all he has left.
Yeah. So it's still there, but it's definitely disappearing. And even All Might in season 3, right, when he go against All For One. And he does United States of Smash.
Didn't give him his powers, he'd still be
a bitch.
What'd you say?
If All Might didn't give him his powers, he'd still be a bitch.
Cause he don't have powers.
Oh, he would have been.
You would be a bitch too in that world.
So he Captain America.
Sure.
Everything special came from a bottle.
Sure. If you want to.
Well, a piece of hair.
Yeah, a piece of hair.
He had to swallow a piece of hair. Yeah.
To get the powers, yeah.
Did you have to give some form of DNA? But you're only still on season 2, so you ain't seen
the anime y'all are raving about.
So you ain't seen him fight.
They're saying the anime I'm raving about.
Did you see him fight Bakugo yet?
Yeah, you raving about. What anime are you raving about?
Right now I'm on One Piece, but that's honestly the anime I'm raving about is Windbreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
no,
Windbreaker is high school kids throwing hands.
Yeah, it's like Tokyo Revengers.
High school kids throwing hands.
They fucking fight constantly.
And all
it's gang shit. It's gang shit.
Think of Baki.
But high schoolers.
See.
That doesn't interest me.
That's that. I'm okay with seeing somebody who go from nothing and being a little bitch to being the coldest nigga on the fucking
this world where only like a good 10%.
Give me somebody else that from like. Give me somebody that was a bitch that became the greatest.
In real life or just people?
Sure.
Can I choose a time frame?
Sure.
Gohan before he became an adult.
Gohan as a kid was a bitch. He cried a lot, but that nigga was cold. Mm-hmm. He had his moments, and he became fat as a motherfucker. He cried the whole time.
Time out.
He cried the whole time Piccolo was training.
How old was Gohan?
Gohan was.
How old was Gohan?
From 4 to 5.
Gohan was 4 to 5, who also lost his dad.
Yeah.
It was trained by somebody to fight.
Yes.
How old is
some nigga that look like a random ass alien? Wow.
He's 14. Somebody who ain't never been through nothing. He He ain't never been through nothing. He ain't go through your life.
You know
Okay.
what nigga Gohan,
I got another one
you
for
know
you.
what Gohan was doing at 14, nigga?
Yeah, just
Beating Cell.
Yeah.
He is hell
He was
ass,
12.
bro.
He was 12.
Even worse.
Even worse. You're not
Matter of fact, I got one for you. You know, from Black Clover.
I ain't seen that.
He was a bitch.
Yeah, he was a bitch.
He was a bitch. And then he got
Zenitsu from
Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer.
I ain't seen that either.
Zenitsu is a whole thing.
Nah. I'm not gonna let you have that. Zenitsu was a bitch. The nigga is cold as a
He
motherfucker
didn't have
now.
to pass out to become a badass.
But
Yeah.
at the same time,
So he's still a bitch.
yes, he is. But you don't really.
I'm not saying there's not anything dignifying about becoming a man after being a bitch.
But see, here's the thing.
I'm just saying, like,
Zenitsu's not.
Come on.
Motherfucking.
Zenitsu's not the main character.
What is his? So we're gonna go on main characters. What we just finished watching Solo Leveling. Jinwoo. The whole first fucking 3 episodes. I'm crying.
You not to unpunch something.
yeah, stop.
I don't know where it stopped at.
Oh, damn.
It probably didn't catch my fucking rant. That's fine. Let's go ahead and get on to this topic that me and Smoke was talking about. I was something happened at work. I was talking to this one person about basketball because I had got into it between me and this dude on YouTube because I was saying that he didn't want to argue that LeBron was better than Jordan. He wanted to argue that Jordan was more entertaining than LeBron and everybody who came after him. I disagree. I saw a nigga named Allen Iverson. I saw Allen Iverson cross your nigga over. And then the league was like, our golden goose, ban the move. Because we can't have him fall on his ass ever. Ban the move. Which is why, one of the reasons why I consider him the GOAT, because if he was, they wouldn't have had to do that for him.
Yep.
Anyway, so you see, so that's what we started off as, and as I was talking to my homeboy Matthew about it, this lady was looking at my earrings, and these are based off the teachings I follow, which is Santo. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Do you believe in God?" And I said, "Yes." I said it just like that. I said, "Yes." I said, "But I think I believe in God more than most people." And she was like, "What you mean?" I said, "Because I don't put a cap on God. I think he can do and be anything." And she was like, "You don't think everybody feels that way?" I think y'all believe y'all think that, but I don't think most people do. And she was like, "Explain." And I was like, "Okay, cool." I talk to everybody, debate forum or whatever, as if I'm talking to him. Because for all I know, you are him. She said, but I'm not. How do you know that? How do you know you're not him? Explain. And she was like, well, because why? I said, that's putting a limit on him right there. Before you even could say anything, you said you're not him. I will never say I'm not him because I don't fucking know. You telling me you think God would never just want to start at 0. Oh, well, he did that with Jesus. I said, no. No powers, no memory that he is who he is, no concept of creating water to wine, walking on water, nothing. Like legitimately start at 0 at a random spot and just see what it's like. Well, why would he do that? I said, that's you putting a limit on him. He has no limit, correct? Because if he has a limit to his thought, to what he is, then I agree with you. But you say he's unlimited just like I feel like he's unlimited, correct? So then how can you say he wouldn't do it? And she started calling, and her and then the guy I was talking to and this other chick, they was like, well, that's a blasphemous thought. How? Are you talking to him right now? And I don't mean you think you are. I mean he's in front of you, like right next to me, doing this. If he's doing it, I'll shut the fuck up. Mm-hmm. But if that's not the case, how the hell do you know? Is it going to take a bright ass shining fucking whatever to drop a book and be like, this is really me, for you to understand? How the hell do you know what he's thinking and wanting to do? I can't stand when I hear people say God has a plan for everybody, because I don't think that. I think just as much as you believe that, it's also a high chance of the opposite. I put no limit. That's why I say I don't know. But if I move in this manner, when I die and I talk to him for real, because he's going to be standing right there, I can ask what I want to ask. Hey, tell me what I was wrong about. What is the meaning of life? Because I felt like it was this. And if I'm wrong, I just want to know. Are my kids going to be okay? How my friends doing? That's the stuff I'm gonna want to ask. But if I say, did you ever just go down there and just be one of us, just regular shit? I'm sure in my heart of hearts he'll say, yeah. Why not? Y'all my creation.
Why not?
As I explain that, y'all all right here. Tell me where I was wrong, or I had a blasphemous thought in what I said.
I wouldn't say so. I ran a couple people who would call other people, "What's up, God? How you doing, God?" Like, because they see God in that person.
Yeah.
So I can't say that you were wrong or had a blasphemous thought, because I ran into people like that.
Oh, we already know my complex. It's already. God is everybody anyway, so that's all that is. I called somebody a sheep the other day.
A sheep? Why? Why?
Because they're a follower. They do what sheep do.
Yeah.
Now, when he entered under the premise of, do you think God has a limit? And I was like, yeah, of course God has a limit. Like, look at the Bible, look at Noah, thinking that he was talking about like a limit of tolerance in the aspect. Of course he has a limit of tolerance. Look at Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot, his wife, Book of Job, all types of stuff like that. But then he was saying, no, do you think that there's a limit to the abilities that God has? And I said, that goes to the basis of your belief process.
Facts.
And I got very theoretical. I went off the basis of if you think that he's the end, he or she, whatever you believe it is the end all be all, then absolutely you would think that God, it does not have any limits. But if you think that this is like Men in Black and we just marbles for two gods playing somewhere, or if you think that we're one of Zeus's projects sitting on a shelf somewhere that he got a C or B on that they always make the joke about, then yeah, I do think there's somebody, I think there's a limit to his abilities. Like with the stuff that takes place here on earth, who's to say that God is the all being and all powerful? And I don't say this to be blasphemous. I say that to say, like, you must ask questions to gain some type of understanding, even though people tell you lean not into your own understanding, for you will not understand.
Facts.
And with that, I get that there's comprehensions to things that we can't grasp and comprehend because he's on another realm or planet or a whole nother sphere of what it is to be a living entity. In that concept, who's to say that there's not something greater than thou? What created thou? Did it really create everything? If it did, then yes, it is the end all be and all, means that it has no limitations. But if there's remotely something above it, like a mother to God, if God has a mother, then God is not all powerful.
That is true.
And that's just how I look at it. And I say that from the perspective of the natural evolution of things, the natural state of how life functions. I understand we are different, but if we are made in God's image, and we have certain limitations, clearly he must too. That's just how I look at it in that facet. I do think that unless the image of God that people perceive out of the Bible is the end all be all, which they do in that aspect, then no, God has no limitations. He can do all and be all and accept all and all of that. But I think that's a lot of stress on somebody.
It is.
So I do think there might be a limit to the abilities and capabilities of what God can do. Also, there'd be a lot more prayers answered for a lot of people. And it wouldn't be as difficult to make it happen, for lack of a better phrase. And the reason I say that is because people always say more money, more problems. Well, if God could just bless you to be rich, I don't think he'd bless you to be rich with those problems. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think the concept, I think there's a creator, and I think, for lack of a better phrase, we call it God. I don't necessarily know, believe, or understand the amount of power that God holds over what can and cannot happen in our lives, because no matter how much we pray, no matter how much we do certain things just tend to happen against the positive nature of what it is a person may be trying to do in their life.
It's a lot of good people who get dealt shitty hands.
Exactly.
And a lot of bad people who get a lot of grace.
Exactly. And it's like, how does that work?
Right.
Why
are they gonna get their karma when they die?
Why are you exactly? Why should I have to?
When they die? Why
should I have to die
that?
to enjoy the fruits of my labor?
Right.
I walked the face of this earth in the midst of turmoil and negativity and presented a positive hand, and all I got back was shit in my face. And now I have to go 70, 80, 90, 100, 200, however long years I'm gonna live before I can see the fruits of my labor. You allowed me to suffer for all of these years, feeling the physical pain of what was going on. For what?
Yeah. To prove to you that I love you.
Right. That's pretty far out. Like, you're psychotic to do that. Like, if you're a jealous guy, the way the Bible describes.
Right. And
go ahead.
And even saying that, there's a possibility that he's psychotic. Everything is a possibility with that. If you're gonna say he's if you're gonna say
right,
he's unlimited.
You don't know what is what. Like, we don't know where on the globe. Like, the globe is positioned a certain way based on whatever we people as perceive. But we don't know how the globe is tilted. For all we know, we could be on the bottom. In all actuality, like, who's to say? So, like you said, down is up and up is down. We could be trying to pray up and China be right there. And I'm joking, but it's just like,
I know what you mean.
You don't know where we at in the grand existence of things. Hell, I don't give a fuck how much science and all the other shit you put out there in the world. You don't know if it's flat or not. Hell, we're finding research that says Antarctica used to be covered with greenery. Like, we don't know what goes place. When you travel to the center of the earth, we were taught that the center of the earth is made out of hot magma.
Magma, and then the very core
but the bottom of the ocean is cold as fuck.
Yeah.
The sun supposedly heats up the earth, but the closer you get to space, the colder it gets. Some stuff just doesn't make any sense with the science that you have available to us. So there are some things I do believe a higher power must be involved and in play, but to put a comprehension on that is insane within itself.
Right. Yeah, but I don't try to. That's why I say I don't put a limit. I don't know.
I don't know,
and I don't pretend like I'm trying to understand.
And like we were saying earlier, you were saying that's a good trait to have about thinking that you're talking to God at all times, because who's to say that Jesus isn't walking, or the idea of Jesus isn't walking the earth right now? And people say, oh, that's blasphemous. It's like, how do you know?
Right.
The Bible is only supposedly 2,000 some odd years old. Let alone the letter J was only invented like 600 years ago. So when it was translated all these times, how the fuck we know who it really came from? How the fuck we know it got translated accurately? Because if you look at, just like, let's say English and Spanish, for example, you take certain stuff in English and then you translate it into Spanish and then you translate it back into English. It's three different sentences.
Yeah, it doesn't say the same thing.
It's three different fucking sentences. They mean three different fucking things depending on how you say it, not how you type it out.
Right. So
it's like, we could be reading the cow jumped over the moon, but if you say the cow jumped over the moon, you know what I'm saying, blah 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 blah, I could be saying a lot more than you're writing down. And in the process of you writing stuff down, you could be missing some shit. The person that's translating might get it wrong. Hell, the King James version of the Bible, one of the original translators was William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was a known down low man. Like, I don't know how you down low in the whole world know, but you a known down low man. And you translated a so-called sacred book that speaks against some of the practices that you're participating in. And you expect me to believe that you translated it correctly. You expect me to believe that you didn't have any type of say in what took place in this book that you claim came from these people with this letter that was just invented. Like, we look at things throughout history as if they were so long ago. Like, Leonardo da Vinci was like maybe like 200 years ago. That's not that long. Fucking Picasso died in like the 80s, I think. Like, he didn't die that long ago. Our parents were alive when Picasso was alive.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that fucking long ago. And I think my numbers might be wrong, but I'm saying that to exaggerate.
Dave Chappelle's grandfather was a slave.
That's what I'm saying. My great-great-grandmother was a slave.
I told my parents that, and they was like, no, he wasn't. I'm like...
Yes.
Because people's perception of time
is flawed. Like, one of the Rockefellers, I don't even think it's the Rockefeller. It's one of the famous families back in the day. They're only 3 generations removed from the start of their family company because all of them keep living to be damn near 100 years old, and they keep having kids at like 70. They'll pop out their last one at like 70, and that last child will live to like 70, 80, 90 and have another kid at 70, 80, 90, and then that kid will live that long. So you keeping it in the family, and let's say you had a child at 70, but your your grandfather's still alive at 98 years old, just so happen to be still alive for the next 2 years until he reached 100, 101. It's something about being old and them old people being able to communicate with them children.
Yeah.
I think them old people imprint on them children and put their knowledge into the youngest or into the child that they have the closest bond to. And they imprint on that child, put that into them, and that child don't adopt that until later on in life when it starts to make sense to them. And when it does, boom, now it thrives and flourishes into something else. That's why you have this family who's only had like 3 great-grandsons or whatever still running the same fucking business that's making their family millions of dollars despite everybody else that's a member of the family.
I got my granddaddy's soul.
We keep thinking that history is so long ago, forgetting and negating that we're creating history right now. We talk about the Bible as if it's this ancient artifact, and it's like, what if that's taking place right now? People call America Sodom and Gomorrah all the time. So it's like, who's to say some of this stuff isn't taking place currently at this moment? So it's like, does God have limitations? Depending on what you believe, yeah. Depending on the counter, no, he doesn't. It just depends on how you like to perceive the situation and how you like to perceive what's going on.
Yeah, but the concept of you're supposed to walk blindly, although I understand and agree with that, I also think that there's some relatively to like...
There's also a statement that says the blind leading the blind.
Exactly. I think that there's lies in both. I think there's both lies and truth in that book.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's why Eddie Griffin is one of my favorite comedians, because he said Christians say Jesus is the messenger, Muslims say Muhammad is the messenger, and somebody else say this person the messenger.
Confucius.
Who the fuck gives a damn who the messenger is?
Did you get the message?
I played the drums, nigga. I can do this shit all day. But nah, like,
that is one of my favorite things that he said. Even when he was bringing up the pyramids, and he was like, "Yo, the move that bitches with sound."
Yeah,
it made sense when he explained it.
And then he was talking about how that motherfucker ain't a pyramid; it's a diamond. Because you think about quartz, and you think about all that shit and how the light reflects. And he said, you think about your eyes and how that shit made out.
He said the pyramids was a battery.
Mm-hmm. And I can see that.
Yeah,
they're in a line at a certain angle, like the fucking signal thing. Like, everything goes throughout history in various different ways. Then you look at how that pyramid geometrically is in the same position as the pyramids in Mexico, which geometrically is the same as the pyramids that's in the pyramids that's here in North America. People don't even know there are pyramids here. The pyramids here, like, geometrically they create a shape, and it's like a fucking battery for the planet. But then you have shit like what was in Georgia before they bombed it, the Stonehenge shit, which gave you guidelines to live by. Then you had other shit over here. Like, so, like, who's to say the Anunnaki or whatever didn't exist? Like, who's to say that? And I always tell people,
we just discovered a planet that has lights.
Right, even with the Bible,
like actual city lights. So, and they said, well, we still don't know what's out there. Nigga, that is clearly a fucking city. Mm-hmm. There's things out there, and for you to believe we were it. Speaks volume of your own understanding and your limitations also on God.
Yeah.
Because you refuse to believe that he wouldn't want to do anything else.
Right.
Have you ever started something, stopped, or fucked up because you fucked up, started again, and realized you fucked up and said, fuck this shit, I'm going to just leave it as is, I'm going to go start all the way over?
Yes. I got 6 games right now that I need to complete.
I'm just saying, people do that all the time. It's video games that we still got to finish. It's board games that still got to be done. It's assignments, it's goals, it's all types of shit that you still have not completed. What makes you think that?
And although it sounds messed up, even you say
God completed Earth.
Yeah, as I was just gonna say that as messed up as it is with you saying that, for all we know, God can literally be like, all right, I just finished that, Jesus. Earth. Oh, I left that gone like 2,000 years
exactly.
ago. Let me go ahead and fix it. How the fuck do you know? You don't. That's my beef with people.
And then you think about it like that. For example, my dad got cars sitting in the yard, been sitting in the yard for 20, 30, 40 years. Cars been sitting. I'm 30. I know that car been sitting there longer than me.
Yeah.
30 some odd years, that car been sitting in that one spot. That car been sitting there so long, a tree grew in the middle of that shit.
Yeah.
Like, my nigga, that car so old, it doubles me in age. Just the car doubles me in age. It's been sitting for half of its life.
Yeah.
If that's a car from a human being and we are made in God's image, who's to say that Earth is not a car sitting on the shelf?
Yeah.
Who's to say Earth is not some random marble that they're playing games with like in Men in Black?
Yep.
Who's to say Earth is not just randomly cast away somewhere as a sneeze? Like the Big Bang really could have been
a fart,
like in Family Guy, or a sneeze, and it's like, oh my bad, I'll come back to that when I get done. Or I'll clean it up later.
Or him just clapping.
Yeah.
And then that happens, and he's,
you know what I'm saying?
Whatever he's happy about, every clap, something new, a new universe is made. Like, I like having these type of conversations with people who are truly closer to God than other people realize. I don't think closed-minded is God.
I don't either. I think the more open you are, the more susceptible, honestly, you are to the will and understanding of God, because you're willing to you have the ability to put your mental so far outside of yourself that you get to the point where you become delusional in your ideology behind it. And what I mean by that is your thought process is so far gone that you begin to lose logic within yourself. And it's like, I see how I got here, but logically it still doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like
I can't explain getting to the ideal behind thinking that we are just a C project, like thinking like we are literally, we are Woody and our God is Andy.
Yeah.
And Andy went off to college and we're sitting in a box on the floor in God's apartment, just sitting there collecting dust, functioning on our own, doing our own little thing, like when Rick made a little pocket dimension and all of a sudden it started functioning by itself.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah.
If you leave the ants be long enough, they will create a colony. And eventually they will have their own version of technology. Same thing with humans.
I love that thought. That's why I always say I don't put a limit on that, because I don't fucking know. I can't wait to find out, because I do think you find out once you die. For good or for bad, I think you do find out. But I don't know.
I think death is just another plane of existence.
Might be stuff.
I also think that too. I also believe in the concept of that there's reincarnation.
I do too.
I think some of the people that are here that move incredibly fast are people from previous, and I think they just over time they lose the memories of that, because when you, and this is before I even had kids, I remember meeting Kamori when she was only 2 days old, and who she was at 6 months, and what she was doing, and then talking to my mom and everybody about like what we were doing, and they're like, nah, y'all was never this fast. How we know that's not great grandma?
Right. Like Jared did something the other day and I was like, damn, you remind me of my grandmama. And I was like, what if you are? That was the first thing I thought, like, what if you are my grandmama? Like, you didn't get to meet her. You didn't get to meet your granddaddy. You didn't get to meet your great grandmama. You didn't get to meet your other grandmama. And it's just like, who's to say that that's not who you are?
Yeah.
And then the way she do shit, the way she grabs shit so fast, I'm just like, You been here. Like, I know Jara been here. I don't know who she was, but she been here.
I look at Michael like that. I be like, for all I know, this is my granddad. Mm-hmm. And for all I know, I could be, when I pass, I might turn up and be my son's grandson. You don't fucking know.
You know.
So like,
hell, you might, like, some people think that when you die, you like, as your eyes close, they're opening in the new body.
Yeah.
Some people think that. And some people believe that you come back as a fucking cockroach. Some people believe you come back as another person, or whatever the case may be.
The fact that you put constraints on your life or life in general or God or whatever you want to believe in, I think is incredibly
naive.
Yes.
But it's in a lot of people's nature to be naive, especially when they.
But you want to know also with that, it's also a beautiful thing to see that naivety.
Nah, I hate that shit.
No. It's beautiful. You can say you hate it, but it's beautiful because you can also see.
It is beautiful to see people's innocence still inside of them.
Yes.
It's like, oh.
Because my innocence was.
It's like, oh, you haven't learned. Like mine is pity. I'm not gonna lie, mine is pity.
That's fine.
Like, and I feel some type of way about that because I wish it wasn't. But when I look at people that ain't been through shit, I feel happy for you. Yeah. But my happiness is from a level of pity.
Yeah.
It's like I pity you because I know what's coming. Like, I haven't seen anybody make it to 50 that's just happy-go-lucky.
And the ones that are,
are scarred.
As a motherfucker.
The ones that are scarred. Like,
when you talk to them,
shit. If you look
make
at them,
a joke
you can see the scar on their chest. They don't have a physical scar, but you can see the scar on their chest.
What? John Ride.
Oh, he just got here?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just like...
Did he? Yeah, I see. Look like somebody backing up.
Could be my neighbor.
Oh, no, that's not John. That's your neighbor.
Yeah. It look like that motherfucking Toyota.
Yeah, at this point.
But no, it's just when you looking at certain things from a certain aspect, you try to put yourself in the realm of understanding. And I've also learned recently people only understand from their education level, and some people weren't taught how to think.
Pretty much. No. People were taught how to think. They were taught how to think how. They were taught to be thinkers in the sense of you're gonna be in this fucking factory and doing what we tell you to do. Mm-hmm. A lot of people weren't. Like, for instance, we all went to public school.
There's a lot of NPCs too.
Yeah, but listening, I had somebody that was like, don't believe all that shit. Mm-hmm. Don't believe all that shit. You was out there in the street. You know that's not.
Yeah, like I had somebody to tell me like, hey, write down what your teacher tell you on your test so you get a 100.
Right.
But know that is not a fact. Mm-hmm. Know that is not the truth. Go in there, put A because that's what they want you to say. But Christopher Columbus ain't discovered no fucking America. Niggas already lived here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's just the simple way of putting it because everybody knows that now. But that's just the simplest, you can say it. But it's just... educate yourselves, make your own opinions and your own assumptions.
Yeah, we're not telling you what to think.
Just when you do, educate yourself on how to think and not what to think. Like, you need to break things down to their basis as far as down as you can go, and then try to comprehend it and build it back up. You need to be able to critically think. Clear your mind when you're doing it. Stop running off of your emotions and shit like that, because a lot of people put their emotions into their religion, and I feel like just once you get too religious, you've boxed yourself in. You've already limited yourself.
Yeah. All right, so before we go, I got one question. If somebody made a video game, right, mm-hmm. and let's say it was medieval times, mm-hmm. do you think this game would be boring, or do you think this game would be fire if you, and I mean for real, literally could be anything in that world? So like you can
sound like For Honor.
No, like that the sieges can happen, but what I mean is
RuneScape.
It kind of like RuneScape. You're born into that world. You start off as a baby. You can make yourself grow up. You can, if you want to be just a fucking peddler, sea urchin, motherfucking, you want to be an assassin, you want to sneak in people's house, be a burglar. If you decide that, yeah, I want to be a king, you can raise up a flag. You might want to be a knight and just be part of doing, or do something like being a noble, and I'm just going to do politicking with nobles, or I'm going to be a merchant and all that. And I think we have reached a point in gaming where we have a game called Grand Theft Auto 6 is about to come out that's going to be doing so fucking much. Somebody need to make that game.
What you mean?
The game where you could do anything.
Grand Theft Auto.
I'm talking about but I'm talking about like in any other structure besides like that, because in Grand Theft Auto you can't create your own person and then not be a fucking I'm about to shoot up everything type.
Well, in the next one you could be a cop.
Oh, that's right. They hired the people who made that mod.
Yeah, you're supposed to be able to be a cop and shit too. So
they give you talking about online?
No, in Grand Theft Auto, as a main character, one of the playable characters is a cop.
Yeah, I mean one of the last.
It's gonna be another 3 characters. I think one of them is a cop,
and the 2 of them is together,
and another one is something else, like a regular civilian.
So basically, you want it to be where they make a game where if you want to be like a merchant seller, you could be a merchant seller. If you want to be a assassin.
If you want to be a store owner, if you just want to be
a motherfucker, you really just want you want a Grand Theft Auto in medieval times.
I want Grand Theft Auto Sims and medieval times mixed into one, so like you can legitimately do and be anything. If your ass could just be a regular fucking person, and out of nowhere your goddamn kingdom that you just been chilling in, you done raise your family in, it all of a sudden gets attacked and you got to make a decision on how to save them. I think nobody's made that game yet.
Mad Max. I mean, you don't get to create your own character, but it's kind of medievalish. It's like wastelandish.
Yeah, I think
you just go out there fucking shit up.
I think it's because of the games that I've been playing recently.
Drive an old beat up car.
Yeah.
Go around killing people.
Yeah. I haven't played Mad Max in a minute though.
Sims, if you take the whole autonomy off, if you take that off, just let it run.
I've done that before.
I mean, Sims is cool, but I think he talking more so like
I get what he's talking about.
I'm talking like a real life simulator, but like you could do. It doesn't have to be medieval times. I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
You know what you want?
What?
The Matrix.
Slick, yes.
That's what you want.
Slick,
You want to be able to walk into the white room and be like guns, and they just appear. And then you want to be able to be like groceries, and they just appear. Now I'm gonna go sell these groceries on the street corner.
Yeah.
I'm living the dream. All I ever wanted to do was be a merchant, and here I am being a merchant.
You want to know what kind of like did that for me though?
You know what you want? You want a game like Free Guy.
That would probably be more. What
you want Free Guy as a video?
I played this game called Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, and then I played Spider-Man 2, and I finished that. And Spider-Man 2, they legitimately damn near built the whole city. But you want to know what did build the whole city? Fucking Minecraft, and I ain't even know Minecraft dude. But you can look at it right now. They rebuilt brick by brick the entirety of New York City. And I'm just, when I saw that, I'm like, so we have the authority to fucking craft.
See, that's why they're hiring younger people to do those things.
Yeah.
Because those younger people that can recreate the entire New York's landscape in a video game can also come up with some of their own shit and create that in a video game.
Yeah.
That's why they're hiring people like that.
Up until nighttime comes and zombies come and try to tear that shit down.
Right.
Say what?
Up until nighttime comes and zombies try to come tear that shit down.
You talking about Minecraft?
Minecraft.
Yeah, they got like zombie monsters and shit in it. Right? The green things? Yeah,
I've never played Minecraft. I have no idea.
I've never played Minecraft. I just be seeing the shit that they be doing on YouTube.
I only know that Minecraft is a game with blocks.
My little brother used to play,
all
so I used to watch
know.
him play it sometimes.
I have no idea what that game is or what it does. All I know is there are little squares that I'm calling blocks. And the game is called Minecraft.
As somebody who's a gamer, I'm like, I realized how out of touch I was when I didn't know what Roblox was until last year around Christmas time.
I still don't know what it is.
It's like Minecraft to a certain extent, but you could apparently do more.
don't know none of that shit.
This shit's wild.
I know what Grand Theft Auto is.
I do too.
That's about it.
And I'm gonna. I want to buy it, but I'm not trying to spend no $100 on a fucking game, bro. I don't mind spending $60. I don't mind spending $70. I'm not but base game, not a deluxe, not a.
They up the price for the Nintendo Switch.
I'm not doing it. I'm not. I was gonna buy
it now.
$450.
Yeah, $450.
$600 if you want.
Price of a regular console.
Yeah.
Console between $500 and $600.
Yeah, but Nintendo was supposed to be the argument against that. Yeah,
they supposed to be cheaper.
It was supposed to be. My bad. And they talking about with this you can get the new Mario Kart, this and that. And I'm just like, yeah, but that shit is still $450 to $600.
Yep.
They still gotta make their money.
I ain't saying don't make your money, but they made a lot of money off of a $200 console. They do every time.
Yep.
This time they just like.
Yep. You want to play Pokemon? You gotta buy this.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I'm not guaranteed. People still gonna buy it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna be one of them, but still gonna buy it.
You got anything? You need to get a PS5.
I have one.
He has one.
You got
it's upstairs.
You got WWE.
No, I'm getting 25 though.
Damn, I got 24. I'll get 25. Let me know when you get it.
All right.
You got anything?
That's gonna be my gift to myself.
I've been just here all day.
You got anything?
Nah, I think they've heard me talk enough.
Well, we appreciate y'all joining this session of the C3S Show. Keep on liking. Oh, thank y'all for coming back and rocking with us. Even though it don't seem like a lot, we've been getting our viewership back up. Like for real. In the past 2.
That's because of y'all. Hit them with the jaw.
In the past week, we've gotten just 3, but we got 3 more followers.
Hell yeah! Thank y'all. Uno, dos, tres.
We got some more followers on Instagram.
Thank y'all.
On TikTok.
Thank y'all.
We are as YouTube is saying, we are now actively in the green as far as going back up.
Trajectory, baby.
Yeah. So we appreciate everybody. We appreciate the likes. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate the views.
We love all of you. If you have any topics that you would like for us to discuss, please put them in the comment section.
I'm guaranteeing that God conversation gonna give us some shit.
Hey, that's fine.
Because I'm gonna post it on TikTok.
Yeah, most definitely. We need to have another conversation like this.
Yeah.
One day we'll come in here and we'll dissect some of our actual beliefs into what, God and spirituality and all of those things. Just be prepared for a very doozy conversation. It probably won't be anytime soon, but that conversation will be a doozy.
And we will have one day where we're going to have nothing but fan questions once we get the fan base up and y'all are a lot more interactive. We will be having a fan comment like, yo, we gonna answer on the spot on what y'all send us. So
Stacy said the one with the locks that actually look nice, she said he handsome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stacey.
Much appreciated.
Much appreciated, Stacey.
Yeah, hell.
You know what I'm saying?
But we appreciate y'all. Please continue to like, comment, subscribe. It's been your boy Michael AFK.
Smoke.
Papa Fozzie.
And your boy Static.
Y'all have a dope ass week.
Always kicking it with the friction, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you don't even say that no more.